And so did you say that you started with an HMO, or did you start with a normal sort of buy to let first?
No, I went straight into that. And to
Okay.
be fair, at that time when I was kind of learning what to do and understanding what could be done, there weren't a lot of books available. B, there was very few courses available, and a lot of them were American. So I actually found a couple of American providers that came over to London on a fairly regular basis and held actually really quite good workshops, daily workshops, very, very reasonable as well. A lot of it based on the kind of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I guess concepts, but, quite illuminating in terms of doing that. And
Yeah.
then,
Did you ever read Rags to Riches Through Real Estate by Russ Whitney? That,
no, I did not actually. I was actually at an event that these guys had organised, and they were meant to have a headline speaker turn up called Dolph DeRuse, who used to be
oh
one of.
yeah, he used to work with. He was a Rich Dad's advisor, wasn't
Yeah, he was, and he was meant to turn up, and basically he didn't come. He didn't
he? Oh
attend. So
dear.
everyone was kind of quite annoyed. And then this guy got up on stage and he started talking about, oh, you can make thousands of pounds a month from a 4-bed house. Well, actually, he didn't say 4-bed house at the time. He just said a house. And I was thinking, that's a lot of money from one house. How does he do that? So I went and researched him, found out more about him, and effectively, although he didn't say it was HMOs, it was HMOs.
Yeah.
And I ended up going on a weekend workshop to really understand what it was he was doing and how to do it. And I think whilst that workshop didn't teach half of what I've been teaching on some of the workshops I have done in the past, it taught me enough to have beginner's luck
Yeah.
in basically going and finding my own HMO.
Well, when I think back, the first house I ever bought was with my best friend, and we were 19, 20 at the time. And I remember we bought it for 27,000, and it was a 3-bedroom house with a dining room, breakfast room, and kitchen. And we put someone in the dining room and made it into an HMO, and we just lived there for 3 years. I looked it up the other day. It's worth something like 375,000 now. That was something that was quite common in those back in the day, wasn't it? People buying houses and filling them with their friends.
Yeah, definitely a good way of getting through university. And
yeah. If you had the deposit, I mean, my friend had the deposit and I had the proper job. I worked at Southern Water Authority and she was a hairdresser, so she had plenty of cash and I had the PAYE stubs. So it worked quite well. Do you remember the first house you bought, and how did you feel when you bought it?
Yeah, I remember it well. It was part of the strategy that we kind of followed was to buy new build properties, less work to be done on them. And if you get a developer at the right end of the either financial year or the development, you can get a really good deal. So I effectively focused on that. I found a plot that was last plot on the site. They'd upgraded it massively compared to the normal plots they do, with upgrading like kitchens and bathrooms and all that good stuff, and managed to get a discount off that, which was around, so it equated to about 16% or so. Nice. So that essentially meant that I didn't need to put any money in. Effectively, the way in which we worked out the whole process is I ended up not putting any money in, getting a small amount of cash back. I remember when I did that, I thought, this can't be right. Paid for buying a property.
Yeah.
But it did work, and it could be done. And I think once I got it, I felt, wow, this can actually be done. And I think a lot of people that want to do something but haven't done it maybe sometimes struggle with that, in terms of you have to believe it before you actually see it, because it doesn't just appear. You have to believe it. So I was very much focused on, okay, it can happen. And at the time, I think part of the support mechanism I had was like a local group of investors doing a similar type of thing. And we kind of almost geared each other up and encouraged each other to do stuff. So we'd come for a meeting and someone would say, oh, I've just bought a house. And someone else would say, oh, I found one and I'm offering one. So you kind of think, well, if they can do it, I can do it, right? So yeah, it was a great feeling getting the house. What wasn't so good was spending about 50 hours putting flat pack furniture together, but hey ho.
Furnished then?
Fully furnished, fully inclusive HMOs. Yeah, I definitely think that you've got to take a risk sometimes in order to get a reward.